Namaskar, everyone. Welcome back to part 5 of our new series, What is Religion? I hope you guys are enjoying it. Please let me know in the comment section. If you're not following, please follow me because I do a whole lot of spiritual knowledge, spiritual teachings on this channel. But if TikTok's not your cup of tea, we are really shifting over into YouTube. So please follow us there. And the links are in my bio. So we'll love to have you over there. All right. I am so excited. Okay, so we're going to do one more video for today. And then we will continue the journey the next day. All right. I just got onto, did something change? Hold on. So we're talking about the word religion. And I wanted to, at least before we hopped into theology and more about the concept of religion, let me also look at the Catholic. They have a page called newadvent.org/cathen/12738a.htm. And so let's see what they have here on the word religion. So we're going to look at the derivation, the analysis, and definition. So derivation of the word religion has been a matter of dispute for ancient times. Not even today, is it a closed question? Cicero, in his De Natura Deorum II, derives religion from relegere, to treat carefully. Those who carefully took in hand all things pertaining to the gods were called religiosi. Okay, I hope you're seeing a pattern here. I am all about patterns. I hope you guys are seeing a pattern happening. Okay, from religier. I hope I say that right. Max Muller favored this view, but as religion is an elementary notion long antedating the time of complicated ritual presupposed in this explanation, we must seek elsewhere for its etymology. Didn't we do that? Okay. A far more likely derivation, one that suits the idea of religion in its simple beginning, is that given by Lactantius in his Divine Institutes number 4. He derives religion from relegare, to bind. Did we talk about that? It says, we are tied to God and bound to Him. Quote, relegati, by the bound of piety. And it is from this, and not as Cicero holds, from careful consideration, relegendo, that religion has received its name. The objection that religio could not be derived from relegare, a verb of the first conjugation, is not of great weight when we call to mind the opinio comes from opinari and rebellio from rebellare. St. Augustine, in his City of God, X.3, derives religio from religere in the sense of recovering. Quote, having lost God through neglect, negligentes, we recover Him, religentes, and are drawn to Him. This explanation, implying the notion of the redemption, is not suited to the primary idea of religion. St. Augustine himself was not satisfied with it, for in his Retractions, number 113, He abandoned it in favor of the derivation given by Lactantius. He employs the latter meaning in his treatise, quote unquote, on the true religion, where he says, religion binds us, religat, to the one Almighty God. St. Thomas, in his Summa, number 2-2, Q31A1, gives all three derivations without pronouncing in favor of any. Okay? So, the correct one seems to be that offered by Lactantius. Religion in its simplest form implies the notion of being bound to God. The same notion is uppermost in the word religion in its most specific sense, as applied to the life of poverty, chastity, and obedience to which individuals voluntarily bind themselves by vows more or less solemn. Hence, those who are thus bound are known as religious. That is major explanation here. And literally, for one to understand where these concepts start going around and trying to understand, and it's still going on today. There is not one solidification of what religion is. There's a lot of notions of ideas and concepts. But again, it's an idea, okay? It is not flat out, this is it. This must be it. It has to be that. No, these are concepts and ideas that have been created. And by here, they're actually showing it's a person binding themselves to a god or gods, right? In this, because we're dealing with Catholicism here, they're binding themselves to the Almighty, right? Or something much more powerful that is outside of the human. And so I want you guys to understand that when you utilize these words, you have to understand what you are saying and what you're binding yourself to. As it says here, right, the same notion is uppermost in the word religion in its most specific sense, right? Religion as applied to the life of poverty. That is the concept, that if you are religious, and now they have thrown that into spiritual, then your life is of this, of poverty, chastity, obedience, to which individuals voluntarily bind themselves by vows. And for individuals to bind themselves by vows, that is where the monastic part comes in, right? Monks who understand the direction, the livelihood that they're going to walk, the path of detaching themselves from the world and only on the path of God, the path of spirituality. That path, they are stripping away from the attachments of the world, of society. What does that come with? There's poverty, there's chastity, and being obedient, fully immersed in obedience to these vows that they have voluntarily taken. All right? So you have to ask yourself, when you were born into whatever religion, you have to understand if you were bound to that, and since you are bound to that, did you do that voluntarily? Was that something that you wanted? And so the question would be, how do I unbound myself to it, and so forth. But we're just looking at what is religion, this part of the concept first. And so when you understand there are vows in this, you have to understand, what vow did you take at such a young age that your parents took, that your grandparents took, that your great-great-grandparents, and so forth, your lineage took? And is it actually for you?